Boker Tov, continuing with where we left off. Melachot of Shabbat, Keli Rishon, Hilchot Bishul, page Kaftet, Seif Mem Vav. So yesterday we spoke about the famous Shulchan Aruch about pouring hot water into dry Keli Rishon, where Maran, ours might be up here. I'll check here. Where Maran suggests and protests against it. And the most important thing we have to clarify is the concern is cooking the water, not the food that's fully cooked, not the already. It's cooking the water that cools down once it makes contact with the air. And we suggested 3 possible solutions to our problem. You have a chilled that's getting dry. Okay, I want to add liquid to it. How do you do it? Oh, from the holy city of Hask. Welcome back. You have three possibilities. One is you have a plastic bag in there from before Shabbat that's been boiled with the food. You penetrate it and the water will fall out like that. That way it never comes into contact with the air. Number 2 was...
I think first is don't.
Yeah, first was lessen the heat source. So elevate the plata or put some sort of metal sheet under the plot so that it doesn't dry as fast. It had nothing to do with Bishul. It was just like a curveball trick. Number 2 was the plastic bag. What? Yeah. But it's fully cooked, so it doesn't matter.
So they put the water in the bag and then
the water in a plastic bag in the chulins from before Shabbat, and then you pop it. If you see that you need more, if it's getting too dry. Yeah? You penetrate it, open the bag, whatever it is. Okay? Yeah, whatever. Baba, wait, that's in the Keli Rishon. In the Keli Rishon. In your Keli Sheni, do whatever you want. Oh, halkon, yeah. Have the time of your life. Hot sauce, flakes, whatever else you like, enjoy. And then option number 3 we said was? The ladle. Have the ladle submerged in the pot. After it's fully submerged and boiling, it's considered Keli Rishon. Then put that into the chulin fully submerged as well. Yeah.
Is it like if a drop, like let's say you get the ladle and the drop that spills out of it and goes?
That's okay. That's fine. Because again, we saw the Yechavedat. His whole premise was even if someone does this, it's not asur. It's v'diavad mutar. It's just l'chatchila we don't. So anything that, the whole thing is Maran's language of yesh limchot. We should protest, which is it sheds light on that perhaps there's room to be lenient. Now, it's important to clarify also, that was all regarding a Keli Rishon in the initial pot. If I have my serving plate of choresh, I poured the choresh from the pot that was on the plata into the serving bowl. I can add from water into the serving bowl, no problem. There's no issue of cooking the water. Be mindful not to cook the food that's in the serving pot, but if it's fully cooked, it's fine. You get it? It's fully cooked, it's okay. So that's just an important disclaimer. Now we will continue today. Eze kli nechshav lekli rishon. So in our third suggestion, we suggested an idea that the ladle in the Keli Rishon will become a Keli Rishon. So what establishes a Keli Rishon? Okay? Af kli shelo kibel et chumo min ha'esh, elav nitchamem mikol makor chum acher, כגון על ידי תולדות האור או על ידי חמה וכיוצא, נחשב לכלי ראשון. So the halacha is simple and explains that how do you establish a Keli Rishon? Do I need direct contact with the fire? And the answer is simply no. You don't need direct contact with the fire. Any keli, any pot, any utensil that boils, that becomes hot, is considered now a Keli Rishon. So there's a Shema Kilcheta, a very famous Rosh Hashanah Auerbach, that discusses this idea of a matzeket, of a ladle. And the halakha is exactly what we said yesterday. And Ravadi agrees that a ladle can often be a Keli Sheni or be a Keli Rishon. How? How can the same ladle, the same serving spoon, change its status?
On a heat source that can make it...
Very good. It depends how long it was in contact with the heat source and did it become Yatzalerebo or not. So, for example, if I have chulins and I quickly take my ladle and I scoop out the cholent, then I pour it into my pot or pour it into my bowl. Lichora, in theory, my bowl is now a Keli Sheni. Why? The cholent pot was a Keli Rishon, the ladle was a Keli Sheni, and my bowl is a Keli Sheni. But if I leave the ladle in the cholent or in the chicken soup, this is the tricky part. There's no real timetable until it gets boiling hot. I don't know how long that is in minutes. So until it gets out. But until the ladle gets hot, then the ladle becomes a Keli Rishon, and when I serve from the ladle into my bowl is a Keli Sheni. Okay?
That doesn't have to be in there from the beginning. You just put it in there while
Correct. The ladle is metal. There's no issue of cooking it. It's not going to become like what the Rambam describes, soft. Yeah. So the ladle, this is exactly that. So how do you establish a Keli Rishon? Halakha is very simple. If it gets the Yatzo Lerepo, whether it comes from the fire, or a derivative of the fire, or the sun, regardless of how it gets, even if it gets from the sun, it's now considered a Keli Rishon.
Why sun? Sun we said is fine.
What?
You said sun is fine for it to cook.
We're not talking about cooking. We're talking about what makes a Keli Rishon. It might still be mutar, but it's a Keli Rishon. Okay?
That's the difference with the bowl being a Keli Sheni or Keli Shlishi.
For the Ashkenazim, yeah. For Keli Bishul, Gush, other things like that. For us, already not so much. But for Ashkenazim, yeah. Okay? I mean, in theory, Keli Bishul also, but whatever. But it's maybe more primarily for Ashkenazim than it is for Sfaradim. Yeah, you're not going to put tea in a cholent.
You don't use ladles for tea.
Yeah. I mean, you might, but you're not going to put a tea in I don't know. Yeah.
It's good.
There are potential adding spices or Keli Bishul to a Keli Sheni.
What if like, you get food from somewhere like Shiraz or anything? It has spices on it.
That's fine. It's already been cooked.
No. Meaning, someone made the food you might get from like Shiraz, and they like put spices on it. So then when you warm it up, you're cooking the spices.
That's a problem. Yeah.
How do you know?
Why would they do that?
I don't know.
Why would you suspect anyone to do that? It's fully cooked already. You're not adding spices after it's cooked. Spices are cooked and are cooked.
Crazy.
Yeah, salt you add, but salt we saw already that it's kasher bishul. Salt is the opposite extreme.
Pepper. No one adds like pepper.
What?
No one adds pepper to the food.
Not while it's in the pot.
Food and then put it in the oven.
But if the worker is
No, it's just regular cooked food.
You could do it after, but no one does it in Achinam. If they do it and then put it on the plate, that's a problem. But it's not a thing that people do. No, check. I don't know. Check the kitchen. But no, generally it's not what they do. No, then it's separate issues.
You're not going to tell them. So they just do it.
To do what?
Because that's how they make the food or whatever.
No, they shouldn't. They shouldn't do anything that you can't do on Shabbat. That's separate Amir Nochri concept. We'll talk about that also, God willing. But Lechatchila, what you can't do on Shabbat, the Goy can't do for you either. There are loopholes and exceptions, but that's the general principle. Good?
Wait, did we talk about warming up like spices case like that's not going to reach
What?
Did we talk about like if you want to put spices after and then put it back on?
Like water?
No, like spices on like.
But meaning similar to the water scenario that we spoke about? It's similar to water.
Food, so it's
Yeah, I mean,
still similar to water.
yeah, it's good question. Is it exactly like water that you should be machmi or not? It's a good question. I don't know. It's tough to establish. Maybe. Very good. Okay, so now let's continue and begin with a Keli Sheni. Okay? For 2 minutes we'll start introduce the Keli Sheni and we'll wrap up for today. So we spoke about Keli Rishon, all the different demographics and categories of Keli Rishon. Now let's take one step lower to a Keli Sheni. The halacha is a Keli Sheni shayat sodarebo. Keli Sheni shvehu hakli she'iru letocho tavshil mikli Rishon eno mevashel ach ki shayat sodarebo mutar liten letocho tevalin ushar devarim. Okay? Very, very good. So with the Keli Sheni, we saw this in the Gemara, in the Mishnayot, in the Rishonim. The Rambam says it very clearly, as does the Gemara. Keli Sheni eno mevashel. Okay, y'all, this is a very important principle. Keli Sheni eno mevashel. A second Kli cannot cook under any circumstances except for the exception to the rule. Yeah. Okay? So what's a Keli Sheni? A Keli Sheni is, we saw there was a Keli Rishon that was heated from the fire or any heat source. Keli Sheni is the first derivative of that. When I pour from my pot into a bowl, that is a Keli Sheni. Okay? A Keli Sheni, even if it's yatzolerebo, even if it's boiling, it still cannot cook anything, and you can pour everything into it on Shabbat, except for what we define as Keli Bishul, which was things that you can see get cooked in the Keli Sheni, like tea leaves or an egg. Okay, they say an egg is Keli Bishul. Those two are considered Keli Bishul, so we have to suspect them in a Keli Sheni. But generally, the principle of the Gemara, of the Rambam, with no real, according to the symbol in the Gemara, it's very simple. Keli Sheni eno mevashel. A second utensil can never cook under any circumstances. Good? Very, very good. No, but it's boiling. Wait. Define your tea kettle. The urn that's attached to the fire, or a kumkum that is a separate entity that just keeps it hot. That's a Keli Sheni.
What's a kumkum?
It's a separate urn. It's not kumkum is Hebrew word for urn, but it's not actually attached to the fire. It's not a heat source. Okay? We'll see it in here. We'll see it in this halachot.
Like the ones on Shabbat, like one over there, it's holding with the hot water.
For Seudat Shishit. Right now it's attached to the fire. That's a Keli Rishon. But Seudat Shishit, it's no longer attached to the fire. That's a container that keeps the heat. That's a Keli Sheni. It's a separate container. It doesn't unplug anything.
In theory,
it boils before Shabbat and the heat.
Say you had 1 cup and you just had the urn and you couldn't do
Keli Sheni.
So you could take a spoon, put it in the urn that's connected to the fire, and then put it in.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but spoon is too small. You're gonna do that 500 times.
No, you have like a big spoon.
Okay, that's not a spoon. That's a ladle.
Ladle.
Yeah. We saw that yesterday. Yeah. Okay, Chazak Baruch. Let's get a mitzvah.